Hey guys, I had some time, so I thought I'd make a quick video. Just I wanted to hop on and just kind of share some thoughts that have been rolling around in my mind for, well, months, but I don't always get the opportunity to share them. And I think it's important to share information that goes against what the mainstream media is constantly propagating. But to me, it has been so relevant what the mainstream media and heads of state and just the powers that be, what they're trying to do is divide and conquer us into just all types of groups, whether it's race, whether it's whether, it's religion or sex or whatever it is. It's just been very apparent to me that they are trying to divide and conquer us, jab versus non-jab, especially right now. And I've been doing some research into genocides and how they start. And you can look into, just Google 10 stages of genocide and tell me that we are not living out those steps of classification, of symbolization, of the polarization of the media, trying to pressure and shame people to do certain things that they're not comfortable with, like using experimental drugs. I just don't even know why the vast majority of people aren't seeing these signs. And it's so obvious right now. We're over a year into this thing. And I work in a public setting. I see people all day long, and I am shocked, just flabbergasted, speechless at the mind manipulation, the brainwashing, the conditioning. They just take it hook, line, and sinker what the mainstream media is force feeding them. And I can tell what they watch all day long by how they speak and what they say. And I just can't even, if you've been following me a long time, I've been talking about this and posting about this and trying to just educate and give another voice of opinion. And what do I get? Censored, silenced, shut down. And you guys should know, if you study history and study what the Nazis did in the 1930s, I've talked about this before. The Nazis had total control over what the public saw. Every radio outlet, every print media, they were constantly inundated with one specific message. And I have to believe, everyone knows over 6 million Jews died in the Holocaust. The bigger question is, how did they convince millions of Germans that that was okay? That it's okay to send your fellow countrymen to re-education camps or concentration camps. It's okay, just put them on the boxcar. The government knows best. And I'm floored that we are living in times such likened to the pre-Holocaustic times. And it's so obvious to me. And more than not, people are not making the connections, not connecting those dots. And I'm over here I'm trying not to offend people, because we live in a culture that anything you say that goes against what they think is offensive. And the censorship alone should be waking people up to what's going on. But it's not. I'm on my 3rd Facebook account, and I'm wondering do they really believe that my information is so misinformation, that I should just be cut off? When in history, those people who are trying to control the narrative censor and silence those opposing views. And how does that end for the general population in the end? Look at Venezuela, look at Cuba. Anytime communism is trying to take over a country, it starts with removing history and censoring and silencing those opposing views, so that all the public hears is one message. And it's the message that they want you to hear. And I'm just trying to figure out why people aren't seeing it. It's like a veil is over the eyes of the understanding. Their understanding is not enlightened. If you are a Christian or a believer, you should be awake and aware of what's happening spiritually. And that's what really has been disheartening me lately, is seeing what's going on and seeing other fellow believers not see it. And I'm like, why? Over a year in, you should be seeing what's going on, seeing the subtle craftiness of the enemy, how he works, the manipulations, the virtue signaling, the shaming. You should be seeing what's going on. And more times than not, they are choosing to stick their head way far into the sand. I'm surprised they haven't suffocated already, because their head is so far into the sand. They don't want to come up for air to be able to see. And I know it's because they just don't want to deal with it. You are going to have to deal and stand up to this tyranny, to this ever-present evil that is going to affect you and your children and your children's children. If you are aligning yourself with, I mean, you guys know where I stand on all of it, hopefully by now. If you're aligning yourself with that narrative and you call yourself a believer, I'm going to call it out and say you are deceived in these times. There's manipulations at work. There is craftiness and wily tricks of the devil. Satan is real. He is out there seeking whom he may devour. And I'm trying to understand why that is so hard to believe. Why people who call themselves spirit-filled Christians not seeing it. Anyway, I just wanted to share my thoughts. I'm going to try to do these more often. I know people like it. I know I like watching videos versus just content, posts and stuff. And when I can go live again on my Ashley Fan account, I will. But yeah, mind blown every day.